The oldest and strongest human emotion is fear. And the oldest and strongest type of fear is trepidation of the unknown. When we were children, our parents told us that monsters didn't exist. But we were sure that something was lurking under the bed or in the closet. Fear sees even if our eyes are closed. Welcome to the realm of the arcane. My name is Lon Strickler. Join me as I examine unexplained creatures, strange manifestations, and remarkable realities. Imagine this next hour as a voyage of discovery to strange lands, seeking not for new territory, but for new knowledge of the supernatural. Come on board as we begin this adventure together. Hey folks, good evening and welcome to another episode of Arcane Radio, where we explore the unexplained live on Beyond Explanation with audio simulcast on the Paranormal King Radio Network. Now, I'm your host, Lon Strickler, coming to you within a cannon shot of historic Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I thank you for joining me. Now, before we get started, I just want to mention that the donation icon is active in the chat. If you wish to help us out, please click on that. And if you have questions for the guest, just feel free to post in the chat. Now, before we get to talking to David, I'm going to talk about something I received this week. I received a telephone call from a gentleman I'm going to call R.A., who states that he had a Bigfoot sighting near his cabin in Center County, Pennsylvania, during the first week of October 2020. Now, R.A. was staying in a cabin near the campground area at Bald Eagle State Park. And he said around 6:30 p.m. he walked outside to relieve himself when he noticed movement in the hemlock trees. There was still enough light for him to observe whatever that was. At approximately 50 yards away, he watched a huge, dark-haired hominid walking towards Pine Creek. Now, R.A. stated that he literally heard each footfall as a massive creature moved through the forest. He continued to watch as the Bigfoot stepped over the small creek and continued trekking away from him. Now, R.A. states that he watched the Bigfoot for about 20 seconds. Now, he describes the Bigfoot as at least 8 foot in height with massive wide shoulders. It was covered in dark brown hair. The face was hard to make out, but he compared it as more human than ape, with a conical head and a prominent brow ridge, which he noticed. It never altered its pace. Now, that evening, R.A. said that he heard a series of wood knocks and whoops in and around 1:30 a.m. or 1 o'clock a.m., excuse me. And it was emanating from all directions around the cabin. He said this is the first time he had ever heard anything similar to this in all the years he had come to the cabin. Now, the area does have a lot of wildlife, including pretty large black bears, which I know because I've been up there before. R.A. states that it was not a black bear, which he's very familiar with seeing in the area. Now, I will note that Center County has several state parks and forests, as well as a state game land within its borders and the surrounding counties. And we have received several upright canine sightings and encounters in the area over the years. So, we do have the research team looking into it. I talked to Butch. Butch talked to the witness, and we're going to put it on our list to look into when we get up there. We've got a few other areas we want to look at up there as well. So tonight, I welcome alien abductee experiencer David Eckhart to Arcane Radio. Over a decade ago, David and his family began to endure numerous abductions and close encounters in their home near Pensacola, Florida. The encounters have continued, though the activity has recently picked up in intensity, I'd say in the past year or so. David's ordeal has been thoroughly documented because of his determination to discover why he was chosen. I have assisted David in this journey since 2010. His story was presented on Fact or Fake, the Paranormal Files, which resulted in one of the series' highest rated episodes, namely because the team could not debunk David's claims. David's story can be found in my book, Alien Disclosure, Experiencers Expose Reality. So, David, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. It's kind of strange doing the video thing, but
yeah, it is.
I'm not
we all get
a
used to
video
it.
thing guy. So what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, you and I discuss and chat and stuff back and forth. Sure. What's been going on lately?
As far as lately, it's been laying low kind of lately. I mean, this thing's been going on, but they've been switching out teams here like crazy. I don't know if they're leasing out to other entities or whatever to come and, but sometimes they don't manifesto about me, and I can catch them off guard sometimes when they're a new team coming in, when I'm trying to capture pictures with them and stuff. But one thing you'll never get used to is when you're laying in bed, and as soon as they think you're asleep, they are impatient, and they start coming out from all different directions, and they look like black shadows, and you lay there with your eyes squinted, and then they start touching you and everything else. I'll never get used to it. I guess that's one part I'll never get used to, because shoot, man, you just don't get no sleep that way.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. They wear me down.
So now the group that you originally started working with was a reptilian and some grays, right?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
But yeah, since that time, there have been several other types of groups coming in there, and as well as possible human hybrids, right?
Yeah. Lots of. I've been dealing with a lot of, seen a lot of humans, hybrids, or and some of them look a little messed up, but I've been giving actually photos of them too, a little bit more. No, I don't see too many of the grays here lately, but I think they're all tied in together. I think the reptilians, the grays, the other entities, I guess what I call the mole people. I haven't seen them in a while, but they have really big hands. I don't know how they get anything done with hands like that, but they got just all kinds of different entities, and they do wear costumes, and a lot of people is like get mad because I say that. I'm sorry, they do, and it's like, why would they wear costumes? I'm sure there's several reasons, because maybe sometime in the future, and maybe we're gonna meet up with them. It's gonna be unavoidable, especially with the new quantum computer and everything else we got going on. It's gonna reveal them. It's gonna show us that they're here. So we're gonna have to face them one day, and so their identity will be hidden from the costumes if I get photos of them. Plus, they try to look scary to scare people off, so they'll go run the other way. Say I seen a ghost or a monster or something like that. But yeah, their costumes are pretty poorly done, in my opinion. So, but for a long time, I couldn't figure out if it was them, what they look like, or if it was their costumes. But it's costumes, a lot of them that they wear. So it's very strange.
Right. Now, for people that aren't familiar with you, you first moved down to the Gulf Breeze, Pensacola area back in '89, right?
Somewhere around there. The dates always elude me. Somewhere around that line, yes.
Yeah, your first encounter happened not too long after you got down there, isn't that correct?
That's correct. Yes, we was going camping, and one of my buddies, he was a native of Gulf Breeze, And he knew where a pond was at out in some woods, and there was an island on the pond too. And let's go check it out. Me and my other buddy Bob, and then we was out there trail riding in his Toyota Corolla, going through some trails, and we finally stopped. And then I was sitting in the back seat, and then I seen something going across the tops of the trees. I said, "Hey guys, look, it's a UFO." I was just kidding. Looked strange. I didn't know what it was, but that was the last thing. And then we all laughed it off and got out of the car, and we followed our buddy through the woods to a trail, or which maybe it wasn't a trail, but because we was going through a bunch of briars and stuff. But anyways, we ended up to a clearing around the pond that had a bunch of pine straw and pine trees. Pretty sight. And then we started gathering wood and stuff, but I kept noticing the lights out in the woods off in the distance. And I thought maybe it could be the police out there or some other kids or something strange. And my buddy Philip, he says, people come out here all the time, don't worry about it. I said, okay. So gathered some more firewood, and the thing got closer, and then I realized it's not a human. It's too high to be up in the air to be human, and then or a flashlight. And so I took
I think David might have froze on us.
an orb of light. And
there he is.
Yeah, it was an orb of light or something. Did you lose me?
No, you're all right. You came back.
Oh, okay. Well, what it was like an orb of light or something, and then about the size of a softball, and it had a little red, looked like an LED light that would orbit around it in the middle of it, on the equator of it. And every time I get up close to it, it flashed me in the eyes like it was taking my picture, and take off again. But you can't see nothing for a minute or so until you get your eye vision back. And I see it cruising through the trees. It was zigzagging through them. And I thought it was a remote control, somebody's remote controlling it. I didn't know what it was, but I was going to find out no matter what. And so I went chasing after it again over and over the time we do that. But I couldn't bring myself to touch it when I get up really close to it. I didn't know if it was going to electrocute me or what it was going to do. So, but it finally went into the water, and we lost it there. And then my buddy, Philip, was native, he wanted to leave, so let's get out of here. So okay. So we was walking down the trail trying to find out where the car was. I had no idea where the car was, but he might have had an idea. But it was about 30 feet behind me, and I was as I was walking, explaining to him what this ball looked like, this ball of light, and then all of a sudden I looked up, and there was an entity. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and he froze. He stayed still for a second, and I'm looking at it. It's like, is that a deer? Is that an owl? It was somebody with a mask on. And I yelled, and it took off running, and I took off running after it. And then I caught up to him really quick. I could clearly outrun him, no problem at all. And I was weird enough because he wasn't bending at the knees when he was running, like running on his toes. And I could see the back of his head, and the moonlight shining on it, and I could smell him too. And he smelled sort of like an ether smell. It wasn't real potent, just enough to break off of him. And I could have tackled him. I could have, but the way he was running, and I never seen nothing like that. I did not know what it was, or if I could get hurt or what. So I just kind of slowed down. I was just scaring it. And then my buddy Bob was right behind me the whole time. He knew I was chasing something. He could see it, but he couldn't see as well as I did because I was right up on it. And then he said, "Which way did it go?" And then said that way. So we went around the bush, and it was gone. But everything I know now, he was probably still there, but he's probably cloaked. They have a cloaking ability, and so there's their crafts and personal cloaking. It's pretty awesome that they can cloak like that. But I've learned how to see through them. So it took me years to do it, but yeah, I've learned it. So. Anybody can do it. So, but anyway, we went back to town. We told everybody, "Hey, man, said we think we've seen an alien, but not green." It's like everybody's like, "Oh, come on, guys," And so we're serious. But yeah, that was a true story. I can remember like it was yesterday. So,
do you think that you were meant to see this thing and that it's related to what happened later on with you?
It could be that, you know, because I had strange things happen to us when we was kids. My sister reported I was being visited by some human type UFO people that came down and landed in the back. Me and my brother don't remember it, but she remembers it, and we pretty much beat her up for it, you know. But she states to this day that they came and talked to us when we was kids, and man and a woman. I think that's what she said it was, but I don't remember nothing. And they came at night, and then when I was a little kid, I was laying in my bunk bed during a thunderstorm, and I kept hearing the tapping at the window. My window was pretty high up, and I was in the top bunk of my bunk bed. The lighting would flash, and I could see the thing that was out there was calling my name. So David, let me in, let me in. I'm like, no, I said, no. It looked like Ernie to me, like from Sesame Street. That's like so. So no, I just kept my head underneath the covers, and I was hoping it'd go away. It did eventually, so I went to sleep either or. I can't remember after that, but you know, we had experiences with what we could call ghosts or whatever when we was kids. But this is, you know, this is totally different. It could have been that they might have been interested why the hell I was chasing them in the first place. It might, because I think like 2 weeks after that, I had like these really heavy duty dreams, and then something happened. My buddy Bob said something happened, and I remember walking the street, and there was a bunch of other people, and I ended up in this baseball diamond, and there was a craft sitting there, one of the Ed Walters crafts, and I didn't know it was Ed Walters craft until I seen it, but and I was walking around this thing, tapping on it, trying to figure out what it was made out of, and it opened up, and I went inside, and I was interrogated by some reptilians. So, and it seemed like it was bigger inside than it was on the outside. I can't explain that neither, but they interrogated me, and at the very end, they sent in a young female reptilian, and she sat in my lap, and then I remember leaving, but I don't remember getting back to the house. I remember leaving the craft, and it left. But I was just wondering why there was so many other people out there walking down the street too. But there was there was 3 crafts that night. There was 3 of them. They all looked the same. So maybe they went to the other ones. I don't know. But that was you know, for the longest time I thought it was maybe a dream, but no, it was not a dream. So there's too much coincidence.
You know, you're the only person that I have ever talked to, and maybe you know somebody, but you're the only person I ever talked to who referenced Ed Walter, the craft that Ed Walter saw in Gulf Breeze, that you also had an encounter with.
Right, I've seen it. Yeah, there's 3 of them. I've seen 3 of them. I know somebody's got a video footage that had 5 of them going in and out of the water from the Bob Sykes Bridge on VHS, and I guess NBC sent these guys really nice cameras to catch this stuff on video, and they was getting some pretty cool stuff. You know, that stuff's on YouTube. Some of the guys that are on there, I met all of those guys, and we did some trading on some stuff. Like I went to a hypnotic regression to relive that night out there in the woods, and just to see, you know, if I missed anything, or what I saw, what I really saw. And hypnotic regression was really cool because I got to relive the whole thing through my eyes, not as a bystander, but through my own eyes. And so I didn't miss anything. I think I got it all. I remember it pretty well. So, and because everybody was wondering if something else might have happened when we was there, or something I missed, or I don't think I did. So, but I know.
You know, people ask me a lot how I ever found you, how we ever got in contact with you. And now it's been over a decade, but what I recollect was that I saw your short video of the entity coming in standing in the bathroom doorway. And I saw you had put it online. And I think you were trying to get answers as to what you saw or whatever. And I decided to give you a call or to contact you. And that's kind of where it started at.
Yeah, you contact me. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you kind of recollect that as well? Tell people what actually happened.
With that video, that video right there was actually my camera takes 30 frames a second. Okay, that's a low quality camera. It really is compared to everything I know now. But 30 frames a second. So, and that happened in 15 frames of that 30 seconds. I got up that morning on that video, and then my camera said that the video was corrupt, and so it gave me an option to rebuild the video, and so I pushed go ahead, go ahead, and it was taking forever. And I said, well, I went ahead and went to work, and by the time I was getting home from work, it was just finishing up, and it was so I unplugged it and I carried it to my office and I plugged it to my computer, and I had this program called WinDVD, something like that. And it goes into each frame per second, so and I played through that, and then the whole thing was blank all the way through, and I just kept running and fast forwarding all the way through, and then all of a sudden I seen a flash of something, so I backed up. And it took me a few minutes to find it, but that showed up right there, and I did it frame by frame. And I called my son down and showed it to him, and he like had tears coming to his eyes. He says, "No way!" And it's like, yeah. But put it out there, and then it was out there for about a year, and then you got a hold of me, and then we talked about it, and you said, "What is that?" I said, "It is what you're seeing. That's all I can tell you. It is what you're seeing." So I can't tell you what it is, but we got all this stuff going on around the house. And to tell you the truth, I told the kids to keep all this stuff a secret for about 10 years, so I figured out what was going on. But first we thought it was something in the damn water, because we just moved into this house. And so I told everybody, quit drinking the water. We got all this filtering system set up, and high dollar, high tech filtering, water filtering, still going on, It's like, so, and I kept telling my wife to ignore it, and the kids, I said, man, it's just the house making noises, It's like, but then my wife got a Polaroid picture of somebody looking in the bathroom window. It was 2 stories up in the air, and they looked like they're from like the flamboyant 30s, dressed up like that, but they looked really messed up looking. And couldn't find out later, because a portal was opened up in my bedroom the first time I seen one opened up. And I walked in my bedroom. I was outside working on my truck in my pole barn, and it was about 9:30 in the morning. And I walked in, and right where my TV was, there was a hole. And I stopped, and I backed up, and I'm looking down. I was headed into my bathroom, and I looked inside of it, and it looked like a big studio going on. And they had cameras down there, and they had these guys with the floor was painted, had where you could walk when you couldn't walk. I could see the painted lines and everything. And across there, they had a room, like every room in my house, up in these cubicles all the way across, and they stacked up. And buzzards were going off and everything else, and they had the same people that my wife got a picture of, dressed up like the flamboyant 30s. And then and I'm like, no way, this is like, and I was mad. I was super mad, because I started believing in ghosts and poltergeists, because that's what I was thinking it was. And I got mad. I just started yelling. I said, "They're not ghosts. They're not ghosts." Everybody's like, settle down, settle down. I said, "They're not ghosts. I'm telling you." And then, but it didn't dawn on me that I was looking into a hole, into a portal, or whatever it was, and I was looking down inside there. It's a trip. It was that, and just like the first time they'd taken me and my wife that I could recall that they'd taken us, that we didn't even talk about it the next morning until I was halfway to work, and when we went to a portal, we was fully awake and conscious. And we was like limp biscuits, but I think they use your pineal gland in your brain as your own, is to do what they do. So yeah, I think they cause like a near-death experience or whatever, because you know what's going on, but you just don't care, So that's and so you just kind of go with it. But I could talk to my teeth, she could talk to her teeth, and it's like, oh my God, you feel that? You see that? What's going on? And he's like, yeah. And and they carried us to this portal, Stargate, whatever you want to call it. And they had military guys that was like on three of them on each side of us as they was carrying us in. You could hear them marching down through there, and they was rushing us too. It's like they did not like being. It's like between a realm of their world and our world. It's did not like that realm. Whatever goes on in there, but you know, I got audio and stuff like that from some of these abductions too. We hear all kinds of animal noises, and I got to get that to you. I'm gonna have to download it to get it to you, I guess, again, because they pulled it off of YouTube, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who did that or anything like that.
Yeah, I had all those. Oh my God, I had almost an hour or more worth of video of the all the sounds and everything that was going on in your bedroom, because you used to use the strobe lights and such out there, and I mean, it was amazing. And somebody took it off. It was just removed somehow. And YouTube can never give me an explanation as to what happened. If you've got those videos, I'd like to really put them back up somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. My Google Drive, I have part of it downloaded on there, and I thought I sent you a link on that too. But it's something I don't know why I can't get it to you. But
well, we'll figure it out.
I'm gonna send it to you electronically. Maybe you get the whole thing. So it might take a while to do, but I mean to get it to you that way, but a day or so. But I'm gonna do that for you too. Yeah, so you put that back up or whatever. So
sure. Yeah, that'd be great. Man. We could put the whole thing back, all of them back if we can get them, put it back on Beyond Explanation. I'm quite sure that'd be great.
I have a guy that says you can take off the screeching noise off of that, so he cleared it up even more.
Yeah,
so that's annoying as hell, but I know. But yeah. So
well,
that'd be good
I tell you, now from what I remember, you when you look down into the open portal, and then you eventually were taken to this area that you described as an underground cavern, huge underground cavern, and these reptilians seemed to inhabit the area, but they also had slave labor, which consisted of other alien beings plus humans.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the times I was laying in bed pretending I was asleep, and they're creatures of habit, that they're predictable. So I lay there pretending like I'm asleep, and it don't take them long. They come in and they don't send the best of the best. They always come in and get me. So they come in and nab you up, and I just pretend I'm asleep the whole time, and we go through the whole process again. And you can feel them when they're picking you up and you're moving and everything else. It's you're swaying back and forth, and you can hear them talking back and forth. And yeah, they've taken me to this one spot. They sometimes wrap me up in this like yellow looking cellophane stuff. I don't know, because they're scared of germs or whatever. But and then they would take me in, and then they put me in this like gurney or whatever with like a plastic case going around it, and they've taken me down even further. And then I've ended up in this cavern. Oh my God, it was huge. It was just huge. And there's reptilian families down there. They had the kids with them. There's like carved into the side of the walls. They had like some stores and stuff like that. I mean, we live way better than they do. And they really like their kids. You know, I heard a lot of people say these guys are demons. You know, I'm not. You know, like they love their kids. I swear, they love their kids, and they do anything for them. That's their future, I guess. But they seem like they pay more attention to their children than humans pay attention to their children, which is very amazing. It's because you would think, you just wouldn't think that, because it's cold blooded. Because yes, and they are cold to the touch. Yeah, like a real chilly feeling, like if you had a snake on you. If you ever felt a snake, that's what it feels like. They are cold blooded, and they do homeschool the children. But yeah, and they have bullet trains down there, like on a mag rail, you know, and they have like train tracks down there for like subway cars and stuff. Seen some down there like it looked like from maybe the 80s or something. They had no glass in it at all, but they was transporting workers around down there, and they have artwork carved into the stone. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, just some of the artwork carved into the stone is just amazing. But and then I've been out. Let me tell you about this one time. They done picked me up, and I woke up right in the middle of it, and I was on this train car. I could hear the clicking noise, and it was hot. I mean, it was hot. I couldn't breathe. You know, I had a dry mouth and everything. It was just hot. And there was two reptilian females in front of me, and there was this guy, and he had black boxers on, kind of stout, kind of beefed up a little bit, and he was drooling on my shoulder. So I pushed him off of me, and I'm looking at the females in front of me, and they're talking about the guy next to me. And I stood up, and I said, "Where are we going?" And somebody behind me, I didn't see who it was. They sat my butt right back down. But I don't remember much after that neither. So, but that was going on. But you could hear the clicking. We was on like a rail car or something like that. You could hear the clicking going on. But it was definitely hot. But I don't know who the guy was next to me neither. So, but I don't know if I ever told you that story right there. But any rate.
Well, you know, you can imagine now. I started talking to you and we talked almost every day for
a good long time. Yeah, for a year.
maybe a year. And
Yeah.
you're telling me all about this, and you know, I'm thinking, what the hell is going on with this guy? You know, because first of all, I thought maybe you were having either spirit activity or something else going on. And but as time went on, and as I started seeing some of the evidence you were collecting, some of the videos, and of course some of the other things that were showing up, well, you know, it was obvious to me that you were not faking this. And you know, it's interesting. Of course, they were taking you and your family, but they never kept you and your family together. And they kind of showed you around the place. This reptilian, who, a matter of fact, didn't like you. He said he did. He said he did not like humans.
Yeah, he didn't. Doesn't like humans, no.
And they spoke English as well, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of them speak English. Even some of the grades, they was speaking English too. It's like they do telekinesis, not telekinesis, but
Telepathic,
they're mind reading or whatever, you know. And but they're not always right because because they'd be trying to talk about what I was thinking. And I could overhear them talking, and they get it partially right, but not all the way right. You know, I don't know if they, you know, if you're from, I believe these guys are from the fourth dimension. I really do. Because if you're from the fourth dimension, you would be able to read people's minds. You'd be able to see the auras. You'd be able to see and read things and see natural portals and stargates and everything else. And that technology is like totally different from ours, but they're not so far fetched. But so I think that they're from the fourth dimension because you'd have to think and see things the way they do in order to develop this technology and to see this portal, the stargates. I think they're all around us, the portals and stuff like that. We just miss them. And
yeah,
I think
I believe so too.
I think the best place to look for these portals is where you got a lot of iron content in the soil. It'd be the best places to look for these portals. I guess there's one in Murphy's Wash in Arizona. You got the portal of Lake Titicaca. I think they're all over the place. That you just gotta know how to access them, vibrate at the frequency to get to the other side. But I've never been able to walk into one by myself. They've always taken me, and yes, I do vibrate when they take me. And I've only run out of one by myself. I run out, but I've never been able to run in or go in it because I waited for them to start to open it up and go through. I try and I hit a dead end every time. So, but sometimes you can watch it going on and stuff. I got so many pictures inside the portals and I got so many pictures of outside of them, like them coming in the room. Yeah, I even got video footage of what they look like without any enhancements that I use. So everybody can see It's that which way do you want to look at it, this way or this way? So that's
Well, we're going to be showing a bunch of these images. I did want to state one thing. You know, my theory on this portal entry thing is that they've got to equalize your vibration with what the portal vibration is, as far as maybe molecular, I don't know, synchronicity, syncing it somehow so you can get through there.
Right.
You know, I don't know exactly how it was done. You know, I've been thinking for years now, when quantum computing starts to become more mainstream, maybe we're going to start getting some answers as to what this is.
We will. We're going to meet them. We're going to meet them, I swear.
Well, yeah. I will tell you this, and I'll tell the audience this. David told me after several months after we started working together that they knew about me because they told him that. And I had gotten indications that they were around me, but the year my wife passed away in 2015 was when I started having connection with them, when I started having interaction with them. And these beings that came to me were tall, grayish-like beings. There was always 3 of them. And I always got the indication that the reason why they came was because of you. And I was abducted one time. I was, you know, I did lose time, and you know, there was some interaction. They showed me a few things, and now I haven't had that happen that I know of so far. I mean, since that time. But yeah, I think they, and I know they know that what you and I have done.
Yeah, I have a theory on all that. It's why they okayed you, because I think
okay,
it's a pretty strong theory, but they know the future, okay, and knowing the future changes the future. But they could be running a system to where see if everything happens the same way over and over again. This so I mean, if you have the technology to do something like that, why wouldn't you do it? We built the super hydrogen collider just to see the beginnings of the universe, and why wouldn't you do something to see if everything happens the same way, just to see if you have free will or not? But yeah, so okaying you to do it, you've probably already done this one time before. You never know, or another dimension or whatever. Who knows? That's just a theory.
So. Well, my hope is one day that these beings that have been associated with you will give you or myself some indication what these winged beings are that we've been seeing all around Chicago and some parts of Florida.
It could be Dracos. I've never seen a Draco personally, but I heard the reptilian with wings, and I heard they're pretty awesome size. But I've never seen one. But I think everything's all tied together somehow or another. I think it's all tied together, and it could be even a spot that we're entering in the galaxy. And I'm talking about the galaxy that maybe the vibrational frequency of the planet's changing, and our 2 worlds is starting to intertwine more, because you said yourself that the phenomenons are picking up all around the world, that you're getting calls from people all around the world about things that are going on. So it could be all tied together. The frequency of the planet is like, runs at 8 ohms, and the human vibrates at 8 ohms too. So if you change that, things start happening. I was listening to a guy on a YouTube channel. He was a broadcast, and he was talking about that that he was doing some experiments on, the scientists were doing experiments on DMT, and then they wanted to know what part of the brain it opens up, because everybody has the same experience. And they found out it was quite the opposite. It's shutting down certain parts of the human brain, and that it's the blockers of what's really going on around us, but it's shutting down so they can see these entities and everything else. So that intrigued me. So it really does. So maybe we can all do spiritual education. We can figure out how to shut down these parts of our brains so we can really see what's going on. And I can see these guys what's going on pretty good. but I still miss a whole bunch. But the tools that I use helps me to see them a lot better. But
well, some of the images you have captured over the years. I'm sorry about that. My phone came up. Some of the images that that you've collected over the years are pretty incredible. Portals, different types of beings. I mean, just the whole 9 yards, and especially the last couple of years, you've been able to get a lot of, yeah. It's fascinating, and I did put a few in the book. We are going to share some more later tonight, but I did want to mention one thing. You know, the one thing that really blew my mind when you told me about this was when you had interaction with this reptilian. You seemed to be the guy. He some type of hierarchy of some type, and he he had underlings. He was a overseer some degree, but he told you that they do have a supreme being that they all follow.
Yes.
And I've always thought, is God, their God, our God, the same God? Is it the same supposed being?
It's a possibility. It could be the same guy. We don't even know what God looks like. He could be a reptilian. He could look totally different from what we think. I mean, who said he's a guy with a white beard and sitting in a fuzzy chair? You know, that's the kind of picture I would get. But you know, I read this article out of this book. It's called The Great Holy Spirit. And the Vatican almost burned this book, and it's like a continuation of what happened to Adam and Eve when they came out of the garden and everything, and all the way up to Babylon when the planet was starting to flood from the polar caps melting and stuff, and the ice glaciers. And there was a female which was considered like a female Jesus, and she was a warrior. And it talks into that the God created the pathways to Earth as sure as a box tree. And imparts his golden vessels around the planet. Now, why would God need a golden craft, and the pathways he created the pathways to Earth as sure as the box tree? I don't know what about the box tree, but that must be the portals or stargates or whatever. Mm-hmm. So maybe and he talks about Babylon and everything. It's called Babylon because he said, let's confuse their language to slow them down. And so that's, again, he's using the word let's. There could be more than one God or scientist or whatever. But they talked about that there's each God that created our hands, one created our legs, one created our feet. And this is what the Vatican had. This was one of their books that they had in storage, and which is really interesting because I want to read the whole thing. So, but anybody's wondering, so look it up. It's called The Great Holy Spirit. Look that book up. It's got some cool information in it. And then you talk about the Book of Enoch. You talk about all the gods in there, and the gods, angels, and head of his armies and everything else like that. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on all around us that our brains are just locked out from. I don't know if that's because we're special or we're cursed. I don't know, but it's and I like, my end goal is total enlightenment. I want to know everything what's going on. So I now believe in life after death, and I believe that you get to take your consciousness with you. I think that's the miracle, is the consciousness. It's not life, because I think the universe is an abundance of life. It's consciousness. And what exactly is consciousness? We're just now starting to scratch the surface of it, what consciousness really is. So that's where my research is falling through, is what is consciousness, and do we have free will? Is it really free will? And do I want to know those answers? I don't know. I don't know. But those are scary answers to answer, because it might not be the ones I want to hear. But anyways, that same thing goes with these guys. That I used to think if there was an alien encounter, it'd be like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but it's not. It's totally not that way. It's and these are the same people that everybody else sees and talks about and say they come in these spaceships. They don't need spaceships, man. They come in portals, man. Shoot, I've seen a lot of spacecrafts, and I wasn't impressed with them unless I could see the rivets on them, and I've seen a couple of rivets on them. Something that was big enough for a jetliner to land on top of. So,
well, you know, you have. I mean, we've been showing some pictures up here of some of the portals that open up, and some of them you can see where they're coming through.
yeah,
There have been others that show literally the one has a device that you explained to me, the kind of thing. It looks like a big long worm from top to bottom. That right there, it's up there right now.
Yeah, that's a portal, like a transporter, like you would see on Star Trek.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I'd be scared to go in that thing because if it works like it does in Star Trek, it has to kill you in order to put you back together somewhere else. So are you the same person? You know what I'm saying? That's spooky because I was watching it go on. I was like, wow. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty good. That was a good picture right there. I'd never caught something like that. So
I've gotten probably more comments from that photograph than anything else because it's just amazing. And some of the variety of entities, and there's one up there now. It's like a humanoid type of entity. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's lots of humans like beings and such. You were even shown, and you believe you may have been bred. You were even shown a female.
Yeah.
That you thought may have be an offspring of yours.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And they wouldn't let me touch her or anything else like that. She was wearing I think a Care Bear or little pony pajamas or something like that. She was cute as a button. I'm like, I didn't know what was going on at first, and they had her like behind a piece of glass, and they showed it to me, and she was looking at me. I was looking at her. I was like, what's going on? And then they escorted her out. You know, they're like, yeah, keep screwing up. Go ahead. You know, we'll make things rough on her. But because I was giving them a hard time. I was pushing them pretty hard. And I mean,
well, I remember when you contacted me because you said that you've been trying to resist them, and then they brought this child that to you, though you couldn't touch her or right. You couldn't interact with her, but it was basically a warning.
Yeah,
they were trying to hold that over your head.
Yeah. So and it's like they've done something like that one time in the past too, and it's one of the things I don't talk about. But that was but anyways, so they've done stuff like that too, and shoo. Yeah.
Well, I get people ask me a lot about you and these reptilians and some of these other beings that they actually do eat human flesh, and in some instances they eat each other.
And
you've seen it.
Yeah. I got a video of one of this. You can hear him talking on it. It's very low quality, but I can see. I'd love to clear it up, but it's they had one of the workers that was supposed to come and get me, and I got him on video, a picture of him. It was sort of like a gecko, and the guy was going off on him, and next you know, they paralyzed him while he was still alive. They cut off the top of his head, and he had his children up underneath his jacket, and they pulled it open, and they come out, and they was eating his brains. So it was like looked like spaghetti. And then he realized that I was watching him and getting him on video, so he got rid of one of his guys for the same thing as I was doing to him. I mean, it's like I got him on video. They act like they get in trouble when they get on video. Some of them want to be seen. They do, and some of them seem like they want to make contact. All of them are not exactly the same. It's like saying all humans are the same. I've seen some pretty bad looking humans, and they want to do some pretty bad things. And some humans that really wish for the world to straighten up, and want things to be good for everybody. But that's sort of like they are. I mean, they're no different from us when it comes to that kind of personality. So I can't say they're all bad and they're all good, So everybody always asks me, bad or good? I don't know. You consider humans good or bad? But
I wanted to talk about the fact and faked paranormal files. Now, I know in 2011, fact and fake paranormal files television series, they presented an episode on your encounters. They titled it Alien Intruder. And there was a point, and I remember this, and I've talked to Ben Hansen about this. There was a point where the earthworm phenomena manifested in the episode, and you had told me about this before. You had told me about this, and you had claimed to me that after each intrusion by these beings, your driveway would be covered with thousands of earthworms the next morning.
Thousands, I mean thousands, tens of thousands, 20s of thousands. I mean, there'd be so many of them you couldn't walk down the driveway without stepping on them. I mean, they'll all be heading out of my yard, gone. And the night that they filmed that, it was in the low teens. I mean, it was cold out. I mean, worms don't come up out of the ground when it's that freaking cold out. They just don't do it. And that was they thought that. I mean, I told everybody, says, don't be surprised if y'all wake up and your clothes are inside out. It's like, but yeah, that was very cold that night. It was cold during that daytime when we was out in front of the house. It was so cold I couldn't even talk. Nobody could talk. It was so cold out that weekend. So
well, you told me that the earthworm thing got so bad that you'd come out there with the hose and
hose them off.
Down onto the street. I bet your neighbors were not happy with you.
No, they was wondering what the hell was going on and stuff. I couldn't drive. I did it one time. I drove out of the driveway and it was all over the driveway, and I drove, and that was the wrong thing to do. It just made a big mess.
Oh, I bet.
So the best thing for me to do was, because a leaf blower wouldn't get them off, so you had to hose them off. So that's what I would do, is just hose them off. It's like, what's going on, Dave? Hey. I know
during the filming, you were in the bedroom. Now, you had moved out of the house, and you actually got permission from the new owners to come back and do the filming. And you were in the bedroom, and you were sitting on the bed. The crew was situated in a van outside the house, and they were monitoring you. And at one point, you exclaimed that you sensed that the alien beings were present. And the equipment started going nuts in the van. The electrical interference was detected on all the monitors. After a few minutes, the interference stopped. And when the crew walked out of the van, they noticed that the yard was covered with earthworms.
The
FBI voice analysis expert later administered a deceptive voice examination of you, which you passed on all levels. They just could not debunk you. They tried. I talked to I had Ben Hansen on Beyond the Edge Radio not long after that, and we talked to him about it. And and I asked him point blank. I said, "Well, what do you think was going on?" He said, "I can't explain it. We cannot debunk it." The earthworm thing that's what really freaked him out. So if you do get a chance to watch that, because it's on YouTube, if you get a chance to see that episode, it's really interesting. And I was a little upset with them because I thought they were trying to mess with you a bit, but overall, though, they just couldn't debunk it.
Well, Ben Hansen was like one of my biggest skeptics, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
He was, but now he goes around promoting my stuff now. So, and I sent you a video on that from the Congress of UFO or UFO Congress or whatever, or he did a presentation using my stuff on there. So so, and he showed stuff that wasn't never shown before too. So I sent him some of the emails and stuff. I lost his email. I'm not in contact with him anymore. But he put stuff on the internet that we think it's they be hoax and this and all that. But I didn't know it was him at first that put it on there. But he was my biggest skeptic that was online. But he's not anymore. So now that they did the shooting and stuff. So, but yeah, that's yeah, that was pretty cool that he did that, you know. But I know he can't take it back off the line, but oh well, it don't matter. I had no reason to lie. I don't have time to do all this stuff, and I just want to get up to the bottom of the truth. So maybe I can
Yeah.
leave something behind because I'm not gonna live forever. So yeah, just, some things are gonna die with me. So I just gonna take with me to the grave. But yeah,
Well, I've told plenty of people that you've told me things that I am just not going to disclose. And,
right,
I think it's best left that way to some point. But there have been things, like the experimentations, the disposal of bodies and such that I did put in the book, and you talked about that, and you gave me permission to go ahead and mention them. So I'll tell you what, folks, if you're in the chat, if you have questions for David, go ahead and put the questions up. Also, if you want to use the super chat icon for donation, I'd really appreciate it. But go ahead and put your questions up, and I'll read them off to David as they come, and let's see what he can answer for you. Maybe, maybe he'll tell you something he hasn't told me. I doubt it,
yeah,
but
I
we'll
like
see.
really good questions. I do. I'll tell you if I know them. If I don't, I'll tell you I don't. So it's
But the one thing that another thing that fascinated me, and this involved your wife, was that them coming into your house and taking tours. I always thought that was the craziest thing.
yeah,
But that freaked
yeah,
her out
no,
when the first time it happened.
yeah. It's like they was selling the house to somebody else. It was like that, and you can hear them walking and talking. You can follow them around, and they look like ghost apparitions. You know, it's like it was really strange. The first time we would see them, we'd be laying in bed, and you ever see that movie Poltergeist, where they had all the angels coming into the room and everything? They had like halos on their head and that stuff. That happened to us one night. They was coming from my side of the bed, going around the bed, and going into the closet. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I get up and I look in the closet. I can't see where they're going in the closet, but they was walking through there, and it was all lit up like in a bluish color, or sometimes actually we wake up in the middle of the night and the room would be lit up a pink or a blue. And you get up, you look outside, it's it's still dark out. I thought it was like morning time coming or something, or evening time. It just wouldn't make sense, because we usually went to
Mm-hmm.
bed before it get dark out in the summertime. So yeah, we started our day early is what we would do. So, but it was and
I
then
do
there was
have a question. I got a question here from Flynn Ryder. He asked about the Council of Five. Now, you and I have discussed this before,
right.
but you had talked to a woman who actually gave you a drawing of that.
No,
I
no,
wish I
I
wish I'd
didn't.
send it, but go ahead.
Well, let me tell you about that. It's I didn't talk to the woman. It was a woman I was reading an article on that because I was going through a bunch of stuff and I seen that picture and I was like, it caught my attention, and then I was like, hi, that's familiar, and then I got to reading an article. It was a woman, but I never contacted her or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but she was talking about Council of Five, and I think that's she was talking about the Council of Five. But I was being taken to see the Council of Five, and we had to go through a series of security points to get to them, and it was like when I was in that room, there was a table there. I was standing at the end of that table where she said she was standing at, and then, but when I was there, they brought these monkeys in. I'm like thinking the Planet of the Apes, man, because it reminded me of Star Wars, because everybody's kind of different looking, and everybody was chit chatting, and it was like smoky in there or dusty. I couldn't remember, but either or, and nobody could understand what the monkeys were saying, and they had these military outfits on, and there was like chimpanzees is what they remind me of, and nobody could understand when one of these grays came up and hit him on the side of the head with one of these wands or whatever. Then everybody in the room could hear him instantly. They all shut up and they could hear what he was trying to say to him. I couldn't understand what he was trying to say, but everybody else could. But
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I was thinking these guys are talking to these guys and they're not talking to me. This is after, I think it was after the factor factor. Yeah, it was after the factor because I think they was trying to decide what they was going to do with me because I knew too much information or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was. it was strange. It was very strange, and I remember going through all the security points and everything else. And it was this all started off as like it seemed like he was on the moon or something because it was low gravity. The sky looked the same, and it looked like the dunes. It could have been on the moon. I'm not saying it was for sure, but it sure could have been.
Yeah. You know, the references that I have found about the Council of Five myself keep mentioning the dark side of the moon in an underground facility. And I don't know if that's true or not, but some of the things that you've said to me and others have said to me, there's something going on. I don't know if they're monitoring, they're probably monitoring us for some reason or other or whatever it is, but there's definitely something going on there that, I'm continuously looking into this. I hope I can get some answers. Now, I did get a question from Brian here. He talks again about your how you used to capture these beings with the reflective mirrors, that the security mirrors, but you use something different now, don't you?
Yeah, I use them all now. I use I use a 1 gallon jug of water, and water don't lie. Okay, it just doesn't lie. It doesn't have it in it to lie. But it produces like a 3D image inside the bottle of water that I can look at. It produces a pretty good image because when I have company over and they want to see them, I have to show them to them this way because they have a hard time seeing them the way I do. They actually don't know how to see them unless they slipping up and or being careless. Matter of fact, yeah, it's I used I got some pictures of some stuff going on with one of my daughter's friends that was over here. My daughter was staying with me for a little bit, and that's a really good pictures of that. You remember that one? Yeah.
Yes, I do. And I didn't send it over to. We'll have to use that the next time we have you on. But that is a freaky picture. This entity actually is behind your daughter's friend.
Yeah.
In the dining room. That is so bizarre.
It ran across the floor. It looks like an octopus, and it's black. And it ran across the floor and leaped up on the back of a chair so gracefully. And I'm like, holy crap. And so I ran to my room, grabbed my cell phone, and I grabbed my daughter gave me this stainless steel ball. It's really highly polished. It's probably a decorative piece or something, but I put my phone to that so I could see there was more going on than I could even see with my eyes going on. There was another guy standing in the kitchen doorway, and there's another one standing by him, and then there's other stuff going on. But yeah, I never seen anything like that. It was like an octopus looking thing. It had like long tentacled legs, and it had like flippers on the end of its feet. I don't know what it was. I only seen it that one time and got pictures of it. So
yeah,
so that was pretty good. That was really good. But what was we talking about? What I don't. We was talking about how I was getting the photos. Yeah, I'm using a 1 gallon jug of water, which really works because water don't lie. And I try to set it up in such a way that that you can't fake it. I'm not catching anything else, but I'm catching what's in going on in the room. I do it for everybody else. I don't have to have it for me to see it, but I have to have it in order for everybody else because it takes years to figure out how to see what you see without that stuff. But it even helps me to see better too. I get more details out of it when I look at it that way. It shows me things that I can't see with my own eyes going on sometimes. So, but yeah, it's
and your daughter-in-law had come in. She has been seeing this. Your granddaughter has also been seeing these beings.
Yeah.
You've had friends that have come in that are able to see them. I guess I'm going to have to come down one day. I mean,
I got a spare bedroom. So if you want to stay there, I had one of my friend family, young female staying with me. She's staying in that room, and her mom was telling her because she was scared. So her mom told her to take some brick and pulverize it and put it in front of the door. It won't let them in. I said they're not demons. They look nothing like Hillary Clinton. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. But so they do what they want. They're flesh and blood, and it's hard to explain it to people, but they can control their density. somehow. I don't. I guess if you're in the fourth dimension, you would learn how to do that. But
Right.
and they have a cloaking ability. So, and you know what? Dr. Michio Kaku was talking one time on one of his lectures, and he said, when we invent invisibility, says you won't be able to cover your eyes, and these guys cannot cover their eyes with it. And it's like, how does he know that? Did he do it with the mathematical equation? And how does he know? Because he don't like to talk about stuff like aliens or anything like that. He doesn't want to get mixed up in it. I don't blame him, but how does he know that you won't be able to cover up your eyes? He said you won't be able to see through your own shield. These guys can't see through their own shield, so they don't cover their eyes with their own shielding. So, and depending on what they're wearing, makes them more invisible too. So it's not a perfect system, but yeah, it can be duplicated, and I probably wouldn't be too far off from being able to produce it myself, but I can't guarantee it wouldn't cause you cancer. But I've been seeing it. That's a big interest of mine is how they doing it and what they got, and so you need some resonators for sure. But the frequency, I think I already got, and I think I got that from DARPA because they partially patented partial invisibility, so we're not so far off. So, but at any rate, I could make probably a crude device to doing it. So, any more questions come up? Or, anyway.
I'm seeing if I'm getting any more questions in here. Do you feel like the reptilians are at war with any other being? Or are they at war with us, maybe?
I don't. Yeah.
What do you think on that?
They are at war with somebody, and I don't know who it is, but they said it's a war that they believe it's been going on for a very, very long time. But I just overheard them talking, and I've seen some battle scenes that was going, or battle areas that I was seeing, and it looked like buildings were on fire and stuff like that. And but they fight different from the way we fight. They think the way we fight is cowardly. They want to go battle, head-to-head battle. And because in the very beginning, they was showing me stuff that was going on in the last war that we had with Baghdad and stuff, and it was showing me how they was flushing, the military was flushing people out of buildings, how they was doing it. Pretty good tactic. I mean, smart if our military is using that tactic, and it was like, you know about this, it's like, that it's like, yeah, so I mean, I don't have nothing to do with it. It's like I have no power at all. But there's asking questions like that, and I've seen a lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, they was they're at battle with somebody. I don't know who it is, and they believe that they can win it, but it's like, I don't know why they're battling them. It could be, I don't know. We would probably be at war with them eventually, but I don't know. Maybe not, because not all of them are bad. Not all of them bad, but there are some. Not all humans are good neither. So it's hard telling. We can be programmed to hate and like whoever they want us to hate and like. It's like, oh, the Japanese were telling everybody that we eat babies and stuff, and that made all the Japanese hate us.
Yeah.
So that's during World War II. So
yeah, absolutely.
They believed it. Yeah. So but what do they tell them in North Korea? It's like, so it's they say all kinds of awful things, and there people believe it, or they have no other choice to believe it because they get their head cut off if they don't. So, what a strange world we live on. Any more questions?
Yeah, folks, you got any more questions? Put them up here.
I like really good questions.
He wants Johnny D wants to know if you think these aliens rely on deception as a major tool to fool us and make abductees think that they are special.
Yeah, you're right on it. You're right on track. I mean, all your reasoning is right there. Yeah, they try to deceive me. They try to but it's like getting to know somebody for so long. Who's joshing you and who's not joshing you. I don't know all the answers, but Yeah, they full deception. That's why they wear costumes. That's part of the deception as well. Because sooner or later we're gonna meet up with them, and they don't want us to know that it was them doing all the abductions. Uh, I mean, because they're gonna want to do business with us. They do business with everybody else. So they might be doing business with us now because I've seen things that shows that we are, but they don't really like humans that much. I mean, the reptilians are running the show, and I think everybody below, including the Greys, are under their thumb. I really do, and so they're gonna be calling all the shots one day, probably for us. Uh, yeah, you're right. Deception, and you can't, because I always have to look at what they're showing me is what I'm actually seeing, or what they want me to see, or the information they want me to know. Uh, it's like how much of it has been the wool pulled over my own eyes. I always wonder that too. But hopefully, I'm on the right track. So I try to get
Well,
out.
you just were just involved with the documentary about reptilians that you
Correct.
just
Yeah.
finished, and can you tell us a little bit about that? Or are you kind of
Yeah. No, I can talk about it. It's the trailer is out there on video now. It's Chris well, his name eludes me. But it's out there on YouTube. Just type in David Eckhart reptilians.
yeah, we're kind of losing you back and forth here. It's mm. Well, I don't know, folks. I think this is probably going to be it because unfortunately, David's froze up on
My
me, and
daughter was actually did
there he
the
is. Go ahead, David.
was I off there? How much did we miss?
Yeah, I don't know, about 30 seconds maybe.
Okay, well, Chris Turner is the guy who put it out there.
Yeah, Chris Turner.
Don't mention the reptilians or something like that. And that's true. There's some kind of stigma going on. Like there's little gray guys, but there's no reptilians. It's like nobody would touch my story. It sounds too fantastic. I'm sorry
Right.
for all the researchers that think it sounds too fantastic, but you're missing out. You're missing out on a lot of information that you should probably be listening to. You guys need to talk to each other instead of arguing with each other about what's really going on. Uh, there's a lot more going on than just little gray guys. Let me tell you. And do I feel like I'm been chosen? I don't know what the deal is because they never told me directly why they come or why I got a connection with them. But it might be something that I've done or something I do in the future that's going to affect them in some way that I don't know. But they've helped me and they scared the hell out of me, and I've seen things that I can't even talk about. But so are they good or bad? I don't know. But the other researchers need to get it together, and it's more than just little gray guys going on. This is more. This is not just happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people. A lot of people won't talk about it. I don't blame them. I'm not gotten rich off of this or anything like that. I everything I tell is for the truth because everybody deserves it, I believe. And I've taken the blunt of the whole story. These guys are wearing me down. They are wearing me down bad. I mean, I don't know how much longer I can go on like this. I swear to God, sometimes it gets really tough. Yeah, they're wearing me down. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in 20 years.
Oh, I know. I
They're,
know.
they're aging me bad. So, but yeah, they're. I don't wish this on nobody. So I'm taking the blunt of everything. Lon's taking the blunt of everything on his end of the stick for me, and I can't thank him enough. But and he's done a good job. So I wouldn't be
Well, I
here today
appreciate that,
talking to you
David.
guys. Yeah. So
There's one question here. I from Vincent wanted to know the in between portal areas. Can you talk about that when you're going through what's actually happening?
I don't. You hear a lot of things inside there. It's like a buffer zone between the worlds or dimensions or whatever it is. I don't. In there, it's like being in space. It's like you can't tell what's up and what's down, but it has a floor to it. But I never touched the floor because I've always been on a gurney or they carry me through there. But you can hear the guys that they usually bring in military guys in there with and you can hear them marching through there and they're rushing us, go, 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 go. And like they're paranoid as hell to whatever's in there. I don't know if that's I don't know. It doesn't have no smell in there. It doesn't it's hard to tell which is up, which is down. But that could be because of what they kind of drug you up on. I think they use the pineal gland to drug you up with your own stuff. Why use their own shit? And they got they can use you against yourself. They know everything about us, but so they can use it all against us. So it's I don't see much in it. It's just it's a strange area, and when every time we've gone through there, they don't seem to like it in there. It's like I don't know why they don't like it being there. I do not, but you can hear noises going off in the distance. But and I think maybe I captured some of those noises on audio one time during an abduction. The one I was telling you with all the audio information on, with the audio, that there's a one clip in there that they showed on Factor Fate, the floating entity is not actually floating, and it's a female. And there's somebody standing in front of her legs that's invisible, so it was blocking her legs, so it makes her look like she's floating. She's really tall, like the ones that came and visited.
That's right.
And I cleared it up to where they was coming into the window. There's a bunch of them right there at the window where it was standing there. So I have that already set up to send you the photos of that because I just found them last night because my computer's got over 10,000 images on it, and some of them all to go together in a series. So because it's when you video record with your cell phone, the quality just drops out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and so when you take pictures and put them together, you can see them kind of moving around, what's going on. I wish I had a better camera, and you could buy one for the price of a small car. It's like they're not cheap, for especially one. I told Ben Hansen, I said, you give me a camera that does over 100 frames a second, because I guarantee I get the best video that the world's ever seen. He goes, well, Dave, I just can't help you with that. I said, I could set you with the phone number. The guy that he's a millionaire and he has his own Skinwalker Ranch or something like that. And I said, I'm done with this. I says, you guys got your investigation. I mean, everybody got the investigation. The only reason why I did that TV show was so everybody would get an investigation, some kind of investigation. So, and it turned out, I guess, fairly well. They're still making money off that. That's good for them. And NBC sent me a letter thanking me for it because they had the most viewers on that show than they've ever had. It shattered their record. It beat the Super Bowl. And I was impressed with that. And I don't know how they do the ratings. I really don't. But they said there's over 137 million viewers to watch that the first night.
Is that right?
Yeah, over
I know they got a hell of a crowd for that thing.
Yeah. And so, they sent me a letter thanking me. So I said, okay, so maybe you could have paid me. No, I just kidding. No, it's fine. That's fine. I got the information out there. Everybody got the investigation. But like I was telling you earlier, Lon, that the phenomenon is how come some company or scientist or whatever don't come out with some real equipment? Prove me wrong. Somebody prove me freaking wrong that this is going on. Just somebody do it. I like to see them do it. They're gonna come out of here as a new person. I guarantee it. So I changed some people's minds too. So, any more questions?
Well, I will tell you one thing. When my wife was alive, she begged me not to come down there with you She
Really?
afraid I wasn't going to come back. She thought they were going to
Yeah.
abduct me. I swear to God they did. She did.
Let
I
me,
mean,
let me,
she was scared.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. There's a lot of people are scared. You know, they don't believe me, but they're too scared to come over. You know, it's like you don't believe me, you have nothing to worry about. But but you know, when they take me, that's the scary part too, because I don't know if I'm coming back. I really don't
Yeah.
know. And they was doing, yeah, before they did the surgery and stuff, I didn't know what they was doing. I
Yeah.
seen they had a replica of me there that I don't know if they was putting it in the bed. I don't know. I wasn't there to make my wife. If she woke up, she'd still see me there. But they had a replica, and they had him sitting next to the port, the whole door, and they using placed in glass, uh, in a comatose state. And I don't know if it was rubber or if it was alive or what, but maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. But I did see them. So, and there's so many different portals, kinds of portals and stargates. There's even transporters that they have. Uh, yeah,
Mm. Well,
it's really cool.
you had mentioned to me that you think you have been having lost time or possibly abducted in recently the last year or
Yeah,
so, but you just don't remember anything.
yeah,
They're
last
probably, you do believe they are abducting you?
yeah, and it's like yeah, because I'll be doing something, and next thing you know, I'm waking up, and it's like, what the hell just happened? Because and it's not like getting sleep at all. It's not like getting sleep. You just come out of it. You know, it's like you've been awake the whole time, but I'll be like, shoot, like last night, man, I was talking to you, and next thing you know, I'm waking up, I'm sitting on the couch still. That's
Mm,
I get off with you. It was 2:30 in the morning. I was like, what
hmm.
the heck, you know, just going on. You know, I don't remember anything. And I was just got done talking to you. That was strange too. So yeah, it's just
Oh God. Do you know now you grew up in Ohio? Do you know if any of your relatives, and I know your mother is aware of what has happened to you. Um, are you aware of any of your relatives actually being abducted or having alien encounters at some point?
now you know there up in Ohio. There's there when I was growing up, there was a lot of like witchcraft going on and stuff like that. You know, that was back in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. But nobody's ever really talked about UFOs. I think once or twice somebody's mentioned that they might have seen something,
Mm,
but it was mostly about witchcraft and devil worshiping and stuff. Just stuff off the wall like that. And you know, occults that they was going around that was like that. This really strange stuff. There's a lot of strange stuff happened in the 70s. A lot of strange stuff.
yeah.
Uh, they're just weird. It seemed like all the weirdos came out in the 70s. But yeah, but no, they never talked about UFOs or anything like that. And it's like I never gave it a second thought, you know. Not until after that night in the woods, but then you start putting things together throughout the years, and so. But
Right.
I'm glad I'm not the only one it's happening to. But how come
Well,
people need
I
to
will
get
tell you, people, the folks on here right now, that you have actually helped me with other individuals who have been having activity.
right?
I have talked to people, and what I do is refer them to you. And you have talked to several people, and in fact, some of them have one wasn't really that far from you, and the other one was down in Florida on the West Coast, down further south as well. Um, I think I'm going to put you on the Fams and Monsters 14 team because you're helping me out with a lot of stuff. I'm going to put you on there anyway.
uh,
But you have been helping me with these people, and
I
you
try
have
to.
talked to them, and no, you do an excellent job. I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk to them, and I mean, as opposed to you talking to them, because you've been through this, you know what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of people think their life is in danger. It's not. If they wanted you dead, you'd be dead already. Uh,
Yeah.
that's true. Don't worry about them. Yeah, Yeah, if they wanted you dead, you'd be dead already. But yeah, I try to help out as much as I can, and I live a very, very, very busy life. I keep my mind off of things though too. So, but I'm always
Yeah.
doing something. Always doing something. And just sit down here and talk with you tonight. It's a rarity. I'm sitting still, but I'm still fiddling. So it's like, okay. When I think about what I got to do next, as soon as I get off the show here, hopefully I won't fall asleep or anything like that, like last night. Good Lord. But yeah.
Well, David,
Yeah.
I'm not going to take. I'm not going to keep you on too much longer. I just want. I want to thank you for coming on. You know, I have people that really like having you come on and talk to you. The fact that they can see your media on here, you know, with this YouTube makes it much better. They get an
It's hard
idea
for
of
me.
what's really going on, and promise me that we can do this again.
Sure.
I'm quite sure that everybody's going to enjoy it. But yeah, thanks again, and I'll be talking to you soon. Just stay safe.
Oh yeah. I try to. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Thanks.
you take
Thanks a
care.
lot, Ron. Yep.
Okay, you
Thank you.
take care now. Bye bye.
Peace.
Now, if you have an unexplained encounter or sighting, feel free to contact me through the Families of Monsters blog site. If you're interested in supporting Families of Monsters and Arcane Radio, you can use the PayPal donation buttons on the blog and the newsletter. The YouTube channel is coming along well. I mean, and we really appreciate you coming on, looking at everything, your comments and such, and subscribing. We've got a lot of things coming up in the future. And, you know, of course, we have the archived Arcane Radio shows as well. So your patronage is absolutely appreciated. And I do want to thank those who contributed tonight. I want to again thank David for joining me this evening. And I want to thank you for coming on and listening to the show and spending some time with us. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.